This is the first time we're seeing the 11 o'clock advisory as well. So let's see if we're noticing any changes here. Now, this puts us Thursday morning here, expecting that to be a major hurricane, up to 120-mile-per-hour winds as it's just off our coastline here. Notice we'll see that kind of curving then off to the north and east a little bit then. That landfall, we can see it kind of line up a little bit better there with that 8 o'clock p.m. time frame, likely just off the coast. So that's kind of the time frame we have been talking about with this. It's likely going to be into the evening, Thursday night time frame, where this becomes a major hurricane ahead of that landfall. So then no really big changes as far as the general zone of that track that we're seeing. And then we expect that to kind of weaken a little bit quicker than as it moves into parts of inland Georgia, Appalachians as well. By Saturday morning, looks like we have a post-tropical low there. The wind's really going to be downgraded quite a bit. But we now have a hurricane on our hands. And as we've been talking about, that rapid intensification is something that we are going to be seeing for certain today into tomorrow as this continues on that track to the north and northeast. So even as we head inland, still going to be talking about some big impacts. Dave was just mentioning it a little bit, but just really the sheer size of this storm is something that we're going to be talking about. Really remarkable here. I mean, as I'm watching this storm, kind of brings me back to Hurricane Michael back in 2018 when that made landfall. That's the strongest, the last really Cat 5 we've had, and the strongest to make landfall in the U.S. You know, haven't had one since then.
I wanted to point out something in the Hurricane Center, and of course, when they come out with their stuff, they put out a discussion of what's going to happen. I highlighted something here, and you notice with the path that Valerie just showed you how they're predicting a stronger storm now, winds of 125, whereas yesterday they were predicting it to be a little bit less. There is still some uncertainty on exactly how strong Helene will get, and upward adjustments to the forecast intensity could be required in subsequent advisories if Helene rapidly intensifies. Basically, what they're saying is we're going to forecast a 125-mile-per-hour storm, but it could be stronger than that. And if it's going to be, in different advisories, they will let us know, because there's no limiting factor to this storm to rapidly intensify as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we always talk about it. You want to prepare for a category above what is being forecast. So at this point, we're talking about people in the state should be preparing for a Cat 4 hurricane at the very least. The winds are something that we're going to continue to keep a close eye on, as well as we just saw in that updated track map, seeing some signs of some stronger winds as this is on approach to making landfall tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. That's the time frame that we're still kind of focusing in on. So we're going to continue to get more updates as, you know, hurricane hunters are out in this. And, you know, as we've been talking about, the rapid intensification is looking more likely, I would say, as we continue to kind of watch this storm try and get its act together. But, you know, we still have today to get those last minute preparations. I would say by sunset tonight, you want to make sure you're good to go as far as you've got your stuff stocked up, you've got your backyard cleared out, whatever you need to get done. Get that done today, and by tomorrow morning, we're going to start to feel more of the effects of this, especially by the afternoon. That's when we'll start to deal with more of those strong rain bands. The winds will start to pick up, and then it's the evening hours where I think most of our storm surge kind of concerns will start to ramp up there. But you can see radar there in the corner. A lot of this rain still well to the south of us, so it's going to take a little while for, you know, the main impacts to move in.
You look at the rainfall too over Cuba, and just the way that's just training over that one particular spot. All of that rain, folks, is eventually coming our way. Looking at the forecast advisory, and again, typically we're doing this and we're sitting 10 or 15 minutes and reading all this, but we're trying to do this on the air while we talk to you, right? We're multitasking, as I like to call it. When this storm gets its closest to us late tomorrow afternoon, the tropical storm force winds are going to extend 250 miles northeast from the storm and southeast from the storm. That's why the tropical storm warnings are along the East Coast. Now, the hurricane force winds, this is a prediction now, based on this forecast, 40 miles out. That's a pretty strong, I mean, think about that. 40 miles of hurricane force winds on the northeast side and the southeast side. We're going to be on the eastern side of this, whether it comes 30 miles closer or 30 miles to the west, it doesn't make a difference. We're going to be on the eastern side of this. We're going to get some pretty hefty winds and a pretty strong storm surge no matter what.